Beaches, how's it going?
It's going okay.
Good. Feel comfortable? Feel
Yeah.
good?
Yeah, we did.
Alright. So, you're a freshman,
I'm a freshman.
and you are nearing the end of your freshman year,
That would be
your
great.
first year of college. How does that make you feel?
It's kind of nice because I'll be done with homework, which
Yeah.
I'm totally done with that. I just can't wait to be done. But at the same time, it's a little crazy, like, to think I've only got six semesters left.
Yeah.
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 And like to blow through two that quickly, it's just unreal.
Hmm.
So it's kind of crazy to think about how fast it's gonna fly by.
Mm-hmm.
Till like I'm in that seat.
Very true. Did it go by faster than you expected?
I don't know. Like I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So I guess in ways yes, but at the same time no, just because I was unsure how it would feel.
How what would feel?
Like how fast it would feel like going through it.
Hmm. Sorry. Hmm. So you thought it would be slower than it was?
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit more stressful than normal, but like the stress just made things go faster almost,
Sure.
which is kind of weird.
Do you at least do you feel like it's been a positive experience?
Definitely,
Okay.
yeah, definitely a positive experience.
What's been good about it so far?
I think it's just challenged me a lot, educationally, spiritually, giving me maturity.
Okay.
We're not playing with the little kids anymore. You know, we're up in the big leagues, got some great role models.
Hmm.
So,
Cool. Who are some of those role models?
definitely you,
I appreciate it.
Ryan, Guthrie, like the upperclassmen, if you will, and some of the like better professors or more well-known professors on campus. I think like Paul Pett and then Dr. Dan Runyon
Yeah.
was the first two to come in.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Cool. Do you feel like role models play a big role in your life?
Definitely.
Okay. In what way?
Personally, I've always just looked up to role models, so like I'm a lot more gullible, I would say, to what they have to say.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of like my worldview and like the way I act, I think, almost revolves around a lot of what they have to say and put into me,
Hmm.
which at times can be dangerous.
Yeah.
But if it's the right role models, I think I see it as a good thing.
Okay. Has it ever been bad? Has it ever been dangerous?
From a role model, I'd say no,
Okay.
but there always is that like peer pressure from like fellow students where you, for like temporarily, you might look up to them a little bit, and
Sure.
that can kind of play a bad role.
Yeah.
So
So you went to you spent like 13 years in a Christian college,
Yeah,
like private
K through
Christian
12.
college. What has the peer pressure been like from there to here?
Switching from like a really small environment to a much bigger environment.
SAU is a bigger environment?
Yeah, I mean, compared to other colleges, I know Spring Arbor is like still small, but I graduated with a class of 13.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah, so it's much bigger.
That's
So
nuts.
like, you don't feel as pressured. Like in the school I went to, you didn't get to choose your friends. Like you were with the same people for basically every class, so you had to find a way to deal with it, whether you liked them or not.
Okay.
Here, you get frustrated with somebody, you can just move on to a different friend group, if you will.
Hmm.
Yeah. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, that makes a lot of
I feel like
sense.
I veered off a little bit.
No. Well, and so peer pressure, talk about your friends. Do you think that's healthy? Do you think it's healthy to just kind of like move from one friend group to another?
I think there's a point, I wouldn't say healthy per
Yeah.
se. I think there is an advantage to, if you're really frustrated with somebody and like really on edge, being able to separate away from them, to think through things
Sure.
and kind of get your bearings together before you actually try and handle the situation,
Okay.
because otherwise you're going to be responding out of anger.
That's fair.
At least that's the way I see it.
So then how does that work with like your floor?
It doesn't always. I don't know. It's tough because like, I don't know, being a kind of guy who builds up so much and usually just takes it all in
Okay.
and then just vents it out in other ways rather than handling it.
Yeah.
Like that's my biggest downfall, without a doubt.
Sure.
So
So what would, like, if you had to describe your conflict management style, how would you describe it?
no confronto. I hate confrontation.
Okay.
So yeah, I definitely build it up. If anything, like, I know it's probably wrong, but like I talk to like other guys who understand what I'm dealing with, or just kind of vent it out that way. I definitely used League of Legends for a little bit to vent, like killing random CPU monsters
Sure.
versus people on my floor. So
Okay. That's interesting.
I don't know if any of it's healthy,
No,
but it's what I did.
that's not for me to say. Conflict's hard to manage, you know? So what does it look like when you're forced to kind of like deal with whatever conflict you have? Like you can't get out, you can't
Yeah.
you're kind of stuck in the moment.
It's definitely awkward, really awkward.
Okay.
A lot of pressure,
Awkward for you or awkward for them?
more so for me.
Okay.
Just I have like a lot of insecurities with confrontation and whatnot. Like I always feel like the lesser person, that like no matter what I say, it's just gonna come back to bite me.
Interesting.
So either A, I'll try and just be really honest and handle it as maturely as possible,
Okay.
or B, I get whatever answer will get me out of the confrontation the quickest, which sometimes involves lying, but
Sure.
it ends the confrontation.
Which one do you think you do more than the other?
Probably just trying to avoid the confrontation.
That's understandable.
Yeah. And I think it's changed as it's like I've grown older. Like I've tried to switch more over to like actually handling it maturely.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll be a case of like I do one originally and I go back and be like, hey, I screwed this up. We need to handle this better.
Okay.
So
you're willing to go back and kind of
sometimes
talk to them. Sometimes.
Depends on the situation.
Sure. I want to go back to the comment that you made about you always feel like whatever you say is gonna like come back to bite you.
Yeah.
Like, can you expand a little bit on that?
I don't know, like how do I put this? I guess I always feel like I don't think through things real well real quickly. So in the middle of like confrontation, like just trying to respond quickly, like especially when you're talking face to face with somebody and not getting that time to really process through the information, I feel like I'm gonna screw up what I'm going to say. So I feel like I'm on a lower level right off the bat.
Okay.
Especially looking at people that seem like they've got everything together and they're on top of it.
What does kind of your thought process look like in those moments of insecurity and conflict and kind of the anger that builds up? Like, where does your mind go?
Like during the confrontation?
Yeah. Like you can't get out. What are you gonna do? Is that kind of a weird question? I don't know.
It's a little weird, but I think I get it.
ask. Let me start this way instead. You said you feel like you feel like you process things. Those are your words, like more slowly than others in those times. And so, would you say that for you, getting away is kind of like that ability to remove yourself from the situation and kind of process them?
Yeah, it like being able to get out of the situation or even handle a confrontation over like email, text message, something like that, where I can almost pull myself out to a third party view, even though it's not a third party view,
Okay.
and kind of look at my thoughts in comparison with the other person's thoughts,
Sure.
what they're saying, bring it together.
Try to almost, would you say it's almost like removing the emotions from the situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's okay. Why would you want to do that? What happens when like situations are emotionally charged for you?
I feel like I don't know, I feel like with confrontation in certain situations, emotions definitely change the first reaction.
Okay.
Especially like if it's confrontation due to like anger. Anger definitely changes the way I react to things.
Okay.
If it's confrontation, it's gonna be awkward to say on camera. But like with a girl that I like or whatever, then like the infatuation definitely kicks in.
Sure.
Or the different feelings from either party, like they definitely affect like what's going to be said.
In what way?
I mean, when you're dealing with an infatuation, like you tend to just forget about certain things and just because you want to justify everything for that person or for yourself. Just because you want things to work out.
Okay.
And with anger, you just want to be the right person.
So you'd almost say that you kind of just overlook a lot of those things when you're infatuated with a person.
Totally. Like, I read it in a book, and then I looked back at like different experiences that I've been through. I'm like, yeah, that's a little familiar. Like, been there, done that.
Okay.
Who's writing the story of my life?
It's Gary Thomas. No.
Sacred Search.
Sacred Search.
Yeah, I figured you knew what I meant.
Gary Thomas, great guy. So do you feel like you've had to deal with a lot of conflict here in the year that you've been here?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Like first semester, it was from stuff that I brought in myself from over the summer and like my past life coming back up with me.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. So like that wasn't necessarily because Spring Arbor and like with my aunt died, and that was a different type of conflict altogether.
Okay.
There definitely has been conflict from like living with guys on the floor as we start to butt heads, especially towards second semester. Like it came up more.
Sure.
So that was an issue, dealing with different professors that you don't necessarily agree with, or don't like how they're handling things like that. Yeah. So I guess to wrap up the whole question, yeah, there's definitely been a fair amount of like what's the word I'm looking for, confrontation stuff like this semester.
Sure.
First semester not so much because like definitely in that global freshman like just follow the pattern sort of thing.
Yeah. So, and this is maybe immature for you to answer this yet, but do you feel like you've gotten better at confrontation as you encounter more of it, or worse?
In ways yes, in ways no, because it's still definitely been a learning experience because it seems like it's coming quicker and like shorter bits but quicker.
Yeah.
This semester, so like it goes back to where you make the dumb choice first and just trying to avoid it, and then you kind of try and handle it right.
Yeah.
So it's that there's definitely been that struggle
Okay.
going on.
So, you said that there were different kinds of conflicts with like your aunt and your professors and like the floor. What kind of conflict was like your aunt's death? I know that was big for you. That was a
Yeah,
hard situation.
that was, I don't know, that was conflict with God, that was conflict with life, that was, I don't know, conflict with myself. Like that was so many emotions going through my body at one time that I didn't know how to handle it.
Mm.
So,
How would you describe your relationship with your emotions?
I feel like I stuff a lot of emotions,
Okay.
depending on the emotions. Like, yeah, I can show happiness, I can show anger for certain situations. Like the things that really get to me, or that have like a building impact, like the health issues that have gone on in my family for so many years, like
Mm-hmm.
that's the stuff that I've just learned to avoid. Like when you get so much of it for so long, you just cover it up and act like it's nothing.
Sure.
It just becomes a way of life.
Hmm. What if you didn't stuff those emotions? What kind of emotions would they be?
Oh gosh. I don't know. It'd be emotions just all over the board between sadness and maybe some anger. Like, I don't know. It's kind of tough to say, like, having not done, like, really let them out before. I mean, they have come out a couple times, and that's one of those, like, you become like an instant wreck. You start crying for like 10, 20 minutes straight,
Yeah.
and yeah, things just start spinning around in your head, going crazy. So.
Okay. What would happen? What do you think would happen if you were kind of open with how you feel?
I feel like I'd be a more moody person from time to time,
Okay.
for sure. I think if I not only stop stuffing the emotions, but like stop trying to cover up the events and almost forget that they happened,
Sure.
just leave them in the remnants, like I think I'd be more open to seeing other people's pain. Like it's already something that like I try and notice from time to time, because like having been there myself, like I don't like to see other people go through that. Just being like a caring person,
Okay.
but I think I'd notice it more so. Be more apt to seeing similar kind of pain.
So if you were more honest with what you're feeling, you feel like you would have more understanding of what other people are feeling. What does that look like?
I don't know, I guess just being able to pick up like the hidden cues from other people that hide things.
Yeah.
Especially going from like having stuff to do myself.
Sure.
It's like if I were to release it, being able to pick that up,
Okay.
like those cues.
What do those cues look like?
Kind of like a fake happiness. I guess the best way to explain that one is like, I had a teacher my senior year at graduation.
Yeah.
Top, like, cool part of small school
Yeah.
is our graduation speaker got to go to like each and every one of us from the stage and say like, here's what I think you need to work on, because he knew us for 7 years.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
We were the first class he had, so it was really cool. But he said to me, he's like, you're a great guy, or a great personality, like you're a funny, humorous guy, but sometimes you cover up the serious moments with humor. So like, being able to pick that up when somebody's covering up
Yeah.
Like, the reality of how they're feeling with being that funny person, if you will, and stuff like that. I think that's the first one that comes to mind.
Are there any others?
No, but that's just because that's the one I relate to most.
Okay.
And have occasionally seen.
Sure.
So.
What kind of situations do you see yourself kind of portraying that fake humor in?
I don't know about specific situations, but like, just my love for sarcasm in general.
Sure.
And making those jokes, like, creating the environment of people laughing.
Yeah.
Even if it is at you.
Sure.
Like, it's still people laughing, it's the happy emotions.
Yeah.
Which almost makes you feel like you're happy, even though the reality is you might not be at times.
Yeah.
So.
So, humor kind of plays a
Fake it till you make it.
fake it till you make it. Interesting. What do you think? How do you think other people's view of you would? What do you think other people's view of you would be if you were more real with your emotions? Not based on like any like facts or anything, just like what do you legitimately believe people would, how do you believe people would view you?
I think they'd see me as a more serious person.
Okay.
Especially like, because I feel like if I were to be more open with my emotions, some of the humor would come out. Like, it'd be more serious me.
Okay.
So I think that's one way that people would definitely see me. Maybe a little less crazy.
Okay.
But that might not change. That might just be an inbred thing.
Never. I don't think you're crazy.
Oh, I know I'm crazy. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, we've got just a couple more minutes, so I'm just gonna ask you a few more questions.
Okay.
Is that all right? Kind of referring back to, you were talking about a happy or a serious you versus how, well, just a more serious you. How do you think people view you now? You said less crazy. Do you believe that people think that you're crazy?
Oh, I totally think they do.
They think you're crazy. You
A
think
little odd. Like, not so crazy that they don't want to be around me,
Okay.
but definitely like the crazy guy a little bit.
What does that mean?
Like, I think they see me that I'm one of the most random dudes there is. Where I'm just willing to do weird things and think nothing of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy doing those weird things?
At times, yes.
Okay.
It's kind of fun at times just to mess around.
Yeah.
I often wonder if, I don't know, it's almost a way of reliving childhood. Like, I've had different people tell me that, like, I lived, or like I had to grow up quickly.
Okay.
Because like all the stuff that happened with my mom and different health issues she had, like, I was forced into maturity, if you will, with having to kind of be the strong guy,
Yeah.
or one of the strong guys in the family. So I wonder if kind of missing some of that time is kind of what plays into the way I am now. Which, I mean, I definitely believe environment affects the way, like, your personality and stuff.
Sure.
But, yeah.
So what was the environment of your childhood like?
Regular hospital visits, mom being sick, like, she never came out of the house, ever.
Yeah.
So, like, it wasn't that normal, like, oh yeah, mom and dad are at every event sort of thing.
Sure.
It's no, like, I get home and I gotta help my mom do things, because even walking around the house can be rough for her a lot of days.
Yeah.
So.
And what age did that start at? Just roughly.
I must have been 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
That's,
I was really young.
yeah, that's really young.
Yeah.
How do you feel like that kind of, besides you said you felt like you were forced into maturity. Is there any other ways that you kind of feel like that affected your development as a child?
Good or bad?
Good or bad?
I don't know. I think it definitely affected, like, going back to the stuffing the emotions, like,
Yeah.
I think it affected that and kind of made that occur because it became a way of life. Like, her going to the hospital, that most people that freak them out if their mom went to the hospital. Like, I got really used to it real quick.
Yeah.
So that didn't really freak me out. Heck, even when I had to go to the hospital in 6th grade, it didn't really freak me out because I was almost, like,
Yeah.
comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Until they said I had appendicitis, then I lost it. But I don't know. I think with the maturity thing, it almost brought on a little bit of leadership potential.
Okay.
So in that sense, I almost see like a good thing coming out of it.
Okay. That's great. Well, Peaches, thanks so much for meeting with me today. I appreciate it. Thanks for being open. Thanks for being honest. And I'll let you know what grade I get.
Cool. Hope I answered the questions well.
You did a great job.
That wasn't awkward or anything.
Say bye to the camera.
My angel coming out.